because we need water. We need water.
Also, the governor the March for Water, who says it's not enough and is calling for him to resign.
Action News live at 5 starts now.
Number 1 in Central California and first in high definition. This is ABC 30 Action News live at 5.
Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger joined thousands of farm workers and growers for a spirited water rally at the San Luis Reservoir this afternoon. The protest marked the end of a 4-day march to shed light on the devastating impact of the state's water shortage. Action News North Valley reporter Sarah Sandrick has the one demand demonstrators say is non-negotiable.
The protesters gathered here on the shoreline of the San Luis Reservoir, where the low water levels are just one visible reminder of the water crisis. But those who rallied here today say there is a solution.
Right here today, you have the world's attention. Right here today, we are putting the spotlight on this very important issue. We are here today, and together we say, we need water. We need water.
Governor Schwarzenegger spoke to a sea of struggling growers and farm workers Friday who have lost crops and jobs due to the state's water shortage. Many of the protesters and politicians blame federal water pumping restrictions designed to protect the endangered Delta smelt.
For God's sake, President Obama, turn on the pumps.
The passionate protest at the San Luis Reservoir marked the end of an exhausting 4-day, 30-mile march through the Central Valley designed to shed light on the devastating effects of the water crisis. Organizers say California farmers have been forced to leave more than 100,000 acres unplanted, and unemployment in some rural cities now tops 40% as a result.
People want to work. They don't want handouts. They don't want bailouts. They want jobs.
The protesters say long-term infrastructure improvements are needed, but first they're demanding an immediate reprieve from environmental pumping restrictions. Comedian Paul Rodriguez, who chairs the California Latino Water Coalition, says if nothing is done, the long walk was a waste.
We enjoyed the speeches and everything else, but if these pumps don't get open, then we're a failure, a total failure.
Organizers of the march and rally say their efforts won't end here. They plan to keep pushing state and federal lawmakers until they get the water they so desperately need. In Merced County, Sarah Sandrick, ABC 30 Action News.
A grueling 4-day march for water ended with a massive rally in Merced County on Friday.
It's fantastic, and I'm so impressed by the kind of work that you've been doing and marching for the last few days, marching through the wonderful California Central Valley, which is, of course, the most productive farmland in the world.
Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger joined an estimated 8,000 farm workers and growers at the San Luis Reservoir. He pledged to keep pushing legislators to pass a comprehensive water plan. But the protesters say their top priority is an immediate reprieve from federal water pumping restrictions designed to protect the endangered Delta smelt. Former Fresno Mayor Alan Autry making that demand.
And if you bury farming, you bury these faces, and if you do that, you bury America. For God's sake, President Obama, turn on the pumps.
Organizers of the 30-mile march say the water crisis has forced valley farmers to leave thousands of acres of land unplanted and left hundreds, if not thousands, of farm workers without jobs.
Complete Bay Area news coverage starts right now. This is the 10 o'clock news.
Central Valley farmers and farm workers this week held a demonstration protesting the lack of water available for their crops. They say the situation has become so serious, the farmers have formed a new organization aimed at pushing Latino voters to join them in demanding action from lawmakers. Reporter Anita Vogel has the story.
We want water, say farmers and field workers in Central California, a region hit hard by the state's water crisis. Some farm communities will get little or no irrigation water this year, and towns like Mendota and Huron face 40% unemployment.
We are having a depression here. This is ground zero. Without water, you can't grow food and you can't have jobs. And so these people are the human face of this devastating drought.
Now, the newly formed California Latino Water Coalition, representing millions of Hispanic voters, is adding its powerful voice to demand action from lawmakers in Sacramento.
We just want the legislators to know that there's a whole bunch of us. We don't knock on your door, don't come in there with bags of money. We don't have that kind of influence of lawyers, but we're people and we vote and we will vote.
You know, when we're asked to help on major issues such as this water issue, it's definitely in our political self-interest to make sure that we do the best we can.
Lack of rain is only part of the problem here. Federal endangered species regulations protecting tiny fish and other creatures prevent available water from being pumped south where it's needed. Friday, Governor Schwarzenegger spoke to demonstrators at a half-empty reservoir. There's little he can do about federal law, but he has a plan of his own.
We need to build a water conveyance around the delta. We need water storage above the ground and below the ground water storage. And I tell you, I've been fighting for this for the last 5 years.
This week, the government announced California will get $260 million in stimulus money to address the water problem. But new infrastructure could take more than a decade to complete. Little help to the farmers who need the water now. And relaxing environmental rules, even temporarily, needs approval, leaving state water officials praying for a miracle either from Washington or Mother Nature. In Los Banos, California, Anita Vogel, Fox News.